Yes. Yes. Welcome. Welcome again to another episode, or I like to call the Chaos Theory, episode 4. This is my confessions. YouTube/podcast stream. I'm Chaos Rain here. Give people a few minutes to possibly jump in. What announcements could I give? Oh, to let everybody know, I am on Clubhouse now. I have not used the platform yet, but I probably will create a room soon on certain topics, discussions. So if I do find the link, I'll probably post it here on description on my Clubhouse link. Also, if you didn't catch any of the previous episodes, it's on YouTube, Chaos Rain channel, so check them out. There's one that's like almost an 8-minute clip of a particular subject dealing with monogamy and women and how they deal with monogamy. Are women monogamous or not? You'll find that in the on my channel. I'm also gonna probably start throwing some of and finish up the previous season's episodes on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker, etc. So I'm just trying to get the audio, shortened a little bit so that I post it on the podcast edition. And if I never told you before, I'm also have a WordPress site as well, where it's gonna be some of the recordings and audios of all shows I've done up to this point since 2019. Well, actually, it's there already because it kind of reconnects everything, so I don't have to do too much work. But like I said before, you had like any person that does content, rather on podcasting or YouTube, you have to promote yourself. You have to spread yourself out. You cannot depend on one platform. If you're really serious doing content, to solely leave the responsibility and the safety of what you're trying to put out on one platform. It's not intelligent. It's not logic. It doesn't make sense. And And another thing, if you do not know or don't know now, as you know, I work with Mary Brown, the Great Liberator, and we got some things in store leading to the summertime, some topics, subjects. I might do some more collabs, possibly if I could find some collabs with other people, podcasts or content creators, and we just have the discussion. And I think we can move on from there. So now I'm just checking my notifications. All right, good. And I want to put the link if people want to come up. I doubt it, but I'm just gonna do my thing, my little rant before I possibly might open this broadcast up. Possibly. Okay, it looks like everything is good. Yeah, sounds good. So I guess we could begin. Now, why Chaos Reign title is Confessions? As y'all know, there's certain rise of other people that does content on YouTube, particularly the names that y'all familiar with because y'all catch the news better than I do, and I sit back and examine a lot of things. That I know what an issue with a lot of people, either white or black, but let's say we talking about black people for sake of this conversation. That I hear always constant that people are biting off other people's talking points, stealing maybe their words verbatim, stories, sentences, words, catchphrase, etc., etc., etc. Even go as far as even copying, certain templates, backgrounds, and even certain texts in regards titles of their show. What's the purpose of all this? That I hear a lot of people complain about when other people do it, they're able to thrive and get a substantial audience at a more shorter time than somebody that's been doing this for more than, let's say, half a decade. And I know a lot of content creators that's been doing content on YouTube longer than me. I'm the person that just sit there, watch, and absorb the content, and start watching a lot of things up to the present day. So the background I could tell y'all this of the YouTube quote unquote journey that I've experienced. I would say this. One of the first few live streams I came across and listened, didn't participate, but listen. And this is just from my memory. I would say this was back in 2017, around this time, actually, around the month of May. Surprisingly, I came across a female YouTuber and watched her content going live now for the very first time, and her name was Cynthia G. Now, y'all know the development of Cynthia G for a good long time. Trust me, I know because I watched the development firsthand. And I could say I probably participated in a few panels she was on for the last a year, maybe 2.5 years, 3 years ago, and maybe some recently around this year. Now, needless to say, y'all always hear about, the speculations, rumors. And I understand y'all. Even some of the men that, and besides a few women that knew her, knows that when she came on it, yeah, there was a message. And usually it's always dealing with the system. And eventually dealing with the black male's role in the system. She talks about briefly back in, I think, 2016. But I can go as far as her content goes, maybe further as the late 2015, around the fall, reaching winter time. Because I've done it, I always, when I watch most content for the very first time, and this is not the rule, it's not the exception, I always go back to see what other content a creator done before even following it now. Now, I don't do this to every content creator because let's be honest, some people have been doing YouTube longer than 10 years. Remember, YouTube as an entity itself didn't really show its presence till after 2016. I mean, my fault, 2006. And I remember Mr. Research told me that he'd been absorbing and been participating in YouTube that long, like many other people. I think one name, the guy from Texas, Jay or something, said he'd been doing content up to the last 14 years. The point I have to say is this, that YouTube been around for a long time. And remember, people back then, people only did uploads until live streams start to get popular, or they start introducing live stream back in 2016-ish, a little bit. I think they start the same time when Facebook Live started to came around in 2016. So if I had the time when live stream started to become a new entity for people that's doing content, I would say early as 2016 at most. And I say 2016 because Facebook follows every other algorithm what people put out as content to better the quality of their own platforms. I'm not sure if YouTube was the first one doing live streams. I can't say that because I don't know far back when people start doing live streaming. Well, for the sake of the conversation, let's say YouTube was. It was. And I'll keep it at that until someone educate me otherwise. And like always, when you go back to this, you leave a comment and educate me what platform besides YouTube that start where people could start going live. If you could give me a date, timetable, leave in the comment section of this stream. So to her now, if y'all notice, with the baby and Robert Perkins, yeah, that's true. It did happen, unfortunately. But y'all gotta understand, throughout her own development for race and white supremacy, it was something that, like most content creators, is a platform that she created, to express the psychology of the system in regards to how white people think, how black people think. We could say black man was the basis now, but at times she was talking about it years ago. That's how it goes about her content. And after a while, after the first year, 2017, going to 2018, some really did happen, where now she has to strictly focus on black issues, particularly the pathology of black men role in why the system remain as it is. Now, people will say there's somebody punked her, scared her to even go as far as maybe do something that she had to change the platform. If you really go back for a catalog of uploads and live streams, that will be your best tool of understanding if they still exist. And I say if they still exist because the internet is a beautiful place of a lot of things that's still roaming around. And let's be honest, if you're a person that wants to dig into her actual track record history, you could do that, but you're going to do extra work now because to let people know she had 3 channels. The main channel that she eventually has to kill intentionally was the one that had where she peaked on 60K subscribers. Yeah, I wouldn't know that because when you click on that channel does not exist. And there's a reason for that, because when you start over your platform, you have to start on a new basis because what you did 2 years ago, it's not going to be effective and will not work now because, the mess you put out and things like this that came around with, her in a relationship, which, I find ironic with YouTube. I always think that we as content creators, we could separate our lives from the content, from other people that absorb the content. But as I've learned, that is not the case. Rather, people accept the information or not. And I feel people should really distinguish between the information itself. Take the information as is. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. If you think it was helpful and lets you get a different perspective of how you think and feel, then it did its job. But in this society, when we deal with people really, depending on the message you put out, will dig in the background of your life. Depending on the message that feels quote unquote offensive, unfortunately. So, like I said, even talking about when she labels the black male as beta male coons, and there are some men that are beta male coons. There are some. We ain't gonna deny that. But for how she goes about the content 2 years ago and labels like, a good majority of black men is what we call beta male coons. And then lo and behold, one of her good friends from Seattle that exposed the contradiction, which is still floating throughout the internet. It's not gone. And some content creators have covered this extensively. Y'all can research that, do what you have to do. That's your business. That, yeah, it is telling. But you have to understand what any content creator, and we are all not subject to criticism. We're here to do content nonetheless. And the content is what you love and endure and indulge and you consume. And if you're able to sit there, like, comment, and share the content and leave your expression thoughts of how it made you feel, then that content creator by default has done their job. Do you understand? If they have not done that and leave something in the back of your mind that had to make you think differently and had to make you question certain things, then by default, they have not done their job at all. At all. At all. So when people, even the ladies that will be listening to this, think that it's not true, she don't have the baby. Yes, she has a baby. And everything she does at this point is to not only facilitate her life, but make sure her child is good. And she carry on her life. And I want a lot of black men to understand this, that you could go back, create videos and contradict what she said, and you're in your right mind to do so. But know this is a platform, like many things, to make money. And if it doesn't make the money, in her perspective, it doesn't make sense. And that's the direction she's going. And she's always been doing this for the last 2 years. The only thing now going on last year, going this year, she's only just heightening it and start to make it a push more. So you can't knock the hustle at the end of the day. You can't knock the hustle. So in regards how she put herself to be baby mom number 5 with her child, and mind you, her child's birthday is coming up next month anyway, that, leave her be. Let her make her money and peace. And she's going to make the money anyway. So regardless, the only thing you could do as a content creator or a person that's not new content, you sit there, create the videos, and try to push back as best as possible. But know this, that, this is a business and everybody here trying to make some money at the end of the day. And she, like, and many other content creators now, because now she's back at the level she was 2 years ago, because she deliberately destroyed her own channel to really wash up any of the evidence of she having a baby or, from this man, Robert Perkins. Notice it comes with the territory at the end of the day. Most people have to start over because once you're exposed, you have to start over. And I think she's done a great job up to this point to get not only some of her audience back, but grew much further than she was in the last year. So I give her credit for that, for the direction of the marketing she gone in regards to promoting herself. Good to her. So that is as far as I could leave with that side of my history background of the lady Miss Cynthia G from Seattle, or what y'all call the bald eagle, wherever labels you call it. So what's next? Oh, if y'all didn't know, Nyla and Taz, wonderful, powerful duo. If y'all didn't know the little story of Nyla, she's been doing content now for 3 years. And, I remember when she was on the other platform, TRS, Talk Radio Solutions. She was found by another content. Well, I guess he still do content now on TRS. That, her journeys of it. And she herself brings a good element in regards to systematic oppression herself. And she did lose one channel because how deep she goes into the rabbit hole. But now where she's at now, she's probably in a better place now. Um, and let's be honest, guys. When you talk about politics in a certain way and you go at a system, there is going to be pushback, no doubt. Trust me. I mean, I don't even go hard on white supremacy or all these racist, systematic oppressions like that, per se. And the reason why, because it's not my fortitude. I mean, I talk about it, but let's be honest as people. Unless we as black people doing something about it, really, that rule will stick in. All of it is bullshit at the end of the day, in my mind. That's just me, but yeah. But like I said, she created her own lane with it. And like I said, when she was interviewed by, was it ABC? I think it was ABC back in 2018, I believe. She tells the stories, and even now back in 2018, she's moving a little bit more better than it was 3 years ago when she lost the first channel. I think if she didn't lose her first channel, she'd be up to roughly 50K subscribers. But you know how YouTube is. YouTube is a very wicked platform, They will allow certain information to be circulated through the media, but will not allow everything, especially pushing back certain programming narratives. So, oh, and to those that don't know about Taz, before I knew that Taz and I were together, Taz was on TRS too at one time, even on one of my shows back in 2018 when I didn't know about him at the time, when he called in because he didn't really like the history of, I guess, what the elder Ogunye was talking about in her book about the Unconquer One series that me and her do every night for the past couple months of 2018, focus on the history of black people here in this country. I remember when I first came across him, is he didn't like it because I guess he doesn't like the format or just the history of itself. And he admitted personally back then, and I'm not sure now, but he doesn't read. So like I said, he does content on YouTube now with the help of his wife, and he's in his own world. So like I said, for most, I find interesting with a lot of people that will listen to a lot of content and don't read books. It's a little weird. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a person that is a heavy reader per se, and I've been making a time effort to read certain books for the last decade or so, that you can't come on somebody's platform and say you have an opinion and you have not read the information. I mean, but that's just me. I mean, I had this same issue with Mr. Fantastic a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, that you cannot watch content and just take it as gospel and go by what they say, and that's the information. You have to take up the book and read. At the end of the day, you have to read the material. There's no way around it. And I will say, go even further, you better off just reading the book if the book still exists, besides going through the internet, PDFs and all that stuff. And my issue with PDFs now, because way how technology is formulated now, that they can manipulate the information now easy with PDFs, because PDFs are created and structured by codes. So any sentence or phrase that they did not like, or somebody that goes back to information that finds that is something they want to hide, they could easily hide it now on a digital platform, what we call PDFs. It's hard to do it on a format book itself, because the book, once it's printed, is circulated as the physical copy. You can't change physical copies because it's already been out for a certain amount of time. The only thing you hope is you want to discontinue the product itself, i.e. the book itself. And there are countless books, people, that are discontinued for the last couple decades. I remember one book I have right now called what do you call it? They're written by Julius and Nathan Terror. That book came out in 1984. That book is no longer in print. That's one example. I remember there was another book, I think they were the Moors, I believe. I could be wrong. There's certain Moors books that are out of print. I forgot the name of the title. And I could go as far as maybe possibly some of Ivan Serma's books are no longer in print. But this is something I'm just trying to recall. Not sure if I'm right, because when I bought the book, the time when he died back in 2009, some of his works the more important ones, were selling on Amazon for close to $300 to $500. I remember one book called The Black Woman of Antiquity by Ivan Sertima was going on sale on Amazon for roughly over $1,000. And I never understand why the book, when a man died, the price would jack up. I tell you why. Because they have totally removed it out of circulation. Is it valuable because no longer in circulation? I cannot say that. But I'll tell you one thing. There's a good reason why somebody would stop printing his book or print anybody's book of any information of any nature. So like I said, I always question most people that don't read. But that's as far I could tell you the background of Taz and Nylon from what I know. Besides, I've known going on panels for the last 3 years and so I can't express more of that. Y'all know them better than I do, you know. But this is what I know when I first came across them 3 years ago. And it was not for YouTube per se. Usually it was from either Blog Talk Radio or free conference calls. So that's my background, I can tell you. What's next? And as I go into this, I'm gonna probably tie the art in about copycatting and tell you my side. I'm just giving you a little template of things. The Angry Man, Valdez. If y'all know, the Angry Man is a constant, always chameleon. His colors constantly change. He's always reinventing and changing the platform. He used to been what do you call it? The Black Order, Boss Talk. I think they call it something the Lounge. Politics. And you know, to be honest with you, the politics shows that he did, which I don't really keep up with. To be fair and honest, I can't expound in detail it. I've noticed few content creators did like when he changed his platform away from women to politics. That's when he started to catch an audience, from what I'm hearing. I'm not surprised at that because let's be honest. When you talk about politics, you're going to catch the attention of the right people that are heavily into politics or not so much educated in politics. You know, we have a lot of Black people that are either Republicans or Democrats, and you know the way how they vote or move is reflective. So I guess Angry Man was going very hard on the politics side when Donald Trump was still in office. Now that you know he's no longer in office, I don't think he does the politics shows. But I tell you one thing, he started to really catch more of a buzz and an audience going through the political route. I'm kind of sad that he stopped doing it because now we have a Democrat in office. But from what I'm hearing, I was hearing some good things of him doing the politics show. And I feel one of the weakness that really separates him that he could do much more, be better, is he has to really pick a platform, pick a lane, a real structure lane, and grow from there. And trust me, I know a few people that I talked to watch him heavily, and they would agree to what I'm saying. Because let's be honest, keep reinvent yourself over and over again. I think you're trying to find something that will stick and work to get you not only the subscribers you needed, but an audience you really need that is constantly going to be a constant residual income on a weekly or monthly basis. And mind you, he is doing pretty well. You know what I'm saying? Because he has his own business and stuff. So, like I said, he's trying to find something that really sticks, that this is him. And when you tune on to him, this is what you expect every day or week when he goes live. So, like I said, he's constantly reinventing himself like a chameleon. I think if he finds something that's a structural lane and stick on that and push hard, while all the other things he does a little separate with other channels, he's gonna, in my mind, will get to the audience needed. But that's just me. That's just me. You get me? But you know, like I said, a lot of people that failed out when he kind of, you know, went a different direction. I mean, it's expected. I mean, life moves on. You get me? Anyway, moving on. What else? Oh, Muma Obsidian Ali. What they call Obsidian Radio. Now, this was a very unique character himself when I came across him back in the late 2018, going on 2019. Now, when I heard the brother for the very first time and noticed that the man is the voice of the everyday brother, I look at it and say, this is a man that's resilient. He has the character, he has that voice. It's like when you listen to him, you have to hear what he really has to say because he brings an element to the table to not only to the Black experience, but he focuses on how why Black people really don't get along. Even to the point where most of the things that plague the communities is on the average the woman's fault overall. Not saying Black men don't have have fault into this, but most of the decisions women make is reflective to the community, which I agree to a degree. And now that he has changed from the old him when he was like what they call tradesman in his images, he has now gone into the more corporate professional route because like anything, things as you evolve as a podcast like he has before doing YouTube, you have to change up a little bit where you have to be the reflection of your image. And a city for the last 2 years knows the importance of imagery. And because that now he's actually set a precedent when we tune in, this is what we expect and what we know what he brings to the table for his own media outlet on his own podcast / YouTube channel. And one thing I will say that I give him credit for, I know he's the only man right now in the so-called Black Master that actually came out with an official book. And this is going to tie in to home in to a lot of things that people are not aware of. Copyright, or people stealing your word verbatim, all that stuff. If you are a Negro or a white person or whatever you want to call yourself, the racial spectrum, if you really want to protect your intellectual property in regards so people don't steal your talking points or stories verbatim, you as a person, man or woman, need to write and publish a book of not only your story, but also your platform, aka your talking points, in a booklet, digital or physical. And this is something that the brother, from Philly, City, has referenced, and I have to agree with him. Why I say this? Because let's be honest, when Alan Rush Curry wrote the many books he wrote, he already bought and trademarked what we call a dating coach, if I can remember wrong. And saying this is because everybody is copying and stealing on an everyday basis. And most people copy that's easy is people's talking points. Well, you can't steal it if it was written in copyright on a book. Because anytime someone has gotten wind that you said verbatim out your word, somebody else's actual sentence or talking points that was written in a book, you are now entitled for penalties, which you could be sued federally by law. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. Now, a lot of people said, oh, no one's going to steal or no one's going to really sue me if I take some people's talking points. And everybody said the same thing like everybody else. And you're right. You're right. But here's the caveat and the twist. If a person said it and they write a book on it as sentence per word, any form of rhetoric, you could be titled for that sue. Because you got to understand how copyright really works, and people could do more research on it. But let's say we go there. The only thing the United States government or any institution will respect is when you or put some on the patent office or some that's copyright where it's stamped barcode where it could be sold and read to millions of people. That means if you don't create a product and it's not sanctioned by the patent office, a product, somebody could steal your intellectual property. They could copy it, but if they copy the way it was just the same, which it has, you could be sued. If you steal a certain sentence or a whole story from a book without reference, that is theft, and that could be federally put against you. You see how that works? But you can't tell most people or Negroes this because niggas like to do the streets and all this dumb shit, or I like to call nigga shit. Where I say, oh, you stole my talking points. You stole what I've been saying for years. Yes. And here's the funny thing about all this. A particular Asian man that I was coming across, and he does content on YouTube, says and promotes and says, if you want to grow a following, if you want to do that, take it there, you must steal and copy others, replicate what they do. And it never hit me because I wasn't doing content at that time like that 2 years ago. Well, I was just about to think about doing it, but I wasn't really focused on that. But when I came across that information, I sit back and say, well, goddamn, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Because let's be honest, everybody consumes content on an everyday basis. And one thing, if you have not put one or two or three together, is that if they find something that you are ineffective in, they will take it and copy it and rebrandish it as their own. And if they have a good following or the way how he markets him or herself, they will get much more of a better audience and get a much more of a following and likes and views than what say yourself. And saying this, that's how the game is being played. And we have, or let's say most people have not learned how this game really works. We don't know how this game really works. And to find that you have doing that alone, if you don't have no content, which let's be honest, majority of content creators on YouTube are copying and stealing others. If I had to give a number, I would say roughly 70-80%. And that's just being nice. And if you look at their content overall, it was using other people's videos and giving commentary. It's not really their content. That's why I don't really base my channel like that. Because I look at it and say, you know, it's easy to do that, but you're not doing no content on that. You know, just sitting there taking somebody that they did a video, actual video, or, you know, they played, had a conversation. You just use it as your own content. And to be honest with you, that is somewhat of a form of theft overall. I'm just saying, man. But what I know, you get me? What I know, to be honest with you, I'm just being serious. So, but like I said, you know, most people get a better following doing that, and that's their lane. Cannot the hustle, because let's be honest, YouTube does promote it. The only time YouTube has to step in, if they really have to step in, is when you're actually playing someone else's stream live. Then that's a no. You can't do that. You know. Other things they could probably do to step in. They could do that. But really true, when you start playing somebody else's live stream, it's a problem. You get me? And it goes back to tie in about Mr. Samuel's situation, about people saying he's copying and stealing. I mean, I never hear a lot of this with a lot of content creators talking about other content creators that have something less than under 100K subscribers. I'm only finding this story being an issue now when, let's say, a man like himself or any content creator that has an audience roughly over 500K subscribers. Now it becomes an issue. And it shows the lack of really reinventing yourself to a point where if you were ineffective in your talking points, the only thing you can do is hope that what you talk about, someone else will take and repackage it and put the message out better than you. And you just start, not say start, but come up with something better to get the outcomes you desire. That's my only message and answer to that. If somebody takes something that you created a couple years ago and it was not effective, somebody else was able to thrive, it is what it is. I cannot the hustle because YouTube does allow it. And like the same age man said best, if you want to grow a following or grow your channel up, you're going to have to copy, imitate, do all this just to do that. And let's be honest, majority of people that do content, not just black people, but other race of people, they have done it. And some have been more effective than others. And all you gotta do is tip your hat off that. I mean, regardless how people view about it or they're in their feelings, it is what it is. It comes with the territory. Hell, somebody might copy what I said on my channel. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it comes with the territory. But if it really is an issue, like people said it is, and they complain about for years, then the best precaution is you better off writing a book about your own channel, your content, and hell, you could write a book about your confessions if all else fails, an actual physical book or PDF. That's the only way you're going to protect and get some type of money reward to people that's taking your actual talking points. Other than that, all this other time I say, you know, doing videos saying somebody steal a copy and you don't have no actual physical intellectual property of it, i.e. a book form, you actually hurting yourself at the end of the day. So I advise people, you know, if it's that serious, start writing books about everything you put down as thoughts, phrases, reiterate it in a sentence, in a paragraph, to let people know that this is your thought. That's the only precaution and safety at the end of the day. That's the only way. And I will say this. One question people never notice, because I watch a few content creators, I've noticed Cynthia G, I'm not sure if she's still on that path of writing that book, but if the copyright of people stealing stuff is that important, I think you need to finish that book. And I think when she does come out with the book's going to probably be good or bad, who knows. But if you're really thinking and you're serious that people are stealing, copying you, then you need to have that book in circulation and stamp and fund it, print it with barcode. Also, you know, I think Valdez, Anger Man, was supposed to write a book and he kind of took a step back. I did ask him this 3 years ago. He kind of laughed about it. But I'm hoping now that if he's running the same issues, then obviously you're gonna have to write that book, bro. I tell most Negroes, you're gonna have to write books if it's that serious. If it's really that serious, you're gonna have to get pen and paper, script, write down everything you said constantly on the show and all that stuff that sticks and matters that people potentially might take or steal, and put it out in print form, digital form. It's all the same at the end of the day. You get me? So, okay, I covered those and gave you my answers to that. Now, to the good Dr. Omar Johnson. And this will probably conclude this. I'm going to tell y'all a story about Omar Johnson. I've been following Omar Johnson now for over 11 years now. Yeah, 11 years. And when he was starting his journey after getting his master, or I guess approaching getting his master, actually he did get his master's back in late 2000s. I saw a video of him in Philly doing something about education and kids. It was a small video. I'm not sure if it still exists. I don't know if I have it, but there was a video at the time he was doing this. And as he was pushing his rhetoric and his message, he really got his name out there on a show by Dawa Yusril called the Yah's Real Hour about the miseducation of Black boys, the psychoacademic holocaust, and the psychotropes that Black boys are experiencing through ADHD, Ritalin, Zygertz, Adderall, all those drugs, brain medications. He was on Dawa Yusril's show back in 2010. And from that show alone, it started to blow him up in a way of his notoriety and his presence. So I know he did thank Dawa Yusrel, because if he didn't go on his show back in 2010, no one really would know or hear about him. He would not be doing lectures. He would not be doing debates and battles on Soundetta around 2011, and then be doing Hidden Codes with Tariq, and the rest is history. And yes, he did get his PhD back in 2012. How I know? Because he did an interview with Queen T. Makia Zara. And I'm not sure if her show is on YouTube. If not, I will find that episode and I will upload it. And this will expound any credibility talking about this man is not an actual doctor. Yes, he was, because there was a picture of him getting his degree back in 2012, while he was still, how I say, he was still being the well-known scholar he is now. So when people talk about and say that he needs to show credentials, which if he wastes his time showed it, he probably did. But you can't tell me that this man is not an actual doctor, because I watched the man from start to somewhat of a finish, which he still is in the starting and middle phase. Nothing's done with him yet, because until he got to school running, there's not really a conclusion of Dr. Omar Johnson yet. So back in 2012, he got his doctorate degree. And I think around that same year, the next year, he came out with an actual physical book, which I still own, that is no longer in print. His psychodemic Holocaust on destruction of Black boys, his very first book. And now I heard now he has a second book, which if I can get my hands on it would be good. But yeah, he's an author as well. Now, my only issues with the good doctor moving forward now is that he should be in the business of trying to get this school established. Now, I'm not sure how he's going to do it now, because it's going to cost more than $1 million to keep a school running. We all know that the money, if you're trying to build an established school as big as it is and to maintain and run it, I don't see a lot of Black women, single mothers, got the money enough, if they got a job or in the poverty line, could afford and fund their own son to go to their school successfully for a whole year, much as you get a couple single mothers in 1,000, because in our communities, we still have a good portion of single mothers out here, either by choice or etc. That the money has come somewhere once you get the school up and running, because somebody has to pay for it. And you're not getting no money from the state, which, I have my issues in that. But like I said, if you're going to fund something, it better be fund it yourself and have people donate. But how people are moving now, I don't think a lot of our people are just taking serious funding anything. Hell, they won't even fund what is necessary for Black boys. So it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to sustain this school for a whole year if he gets the $1 million. And really, truly, the whole premise and mission he's trying to get was $4 million, because with $4 million, now you could run a school for maybe 4 years or maybe 5 with $4 million, because he already got the building right and he didn't pay much at all to get it. So imagine he got $4 million. Now he can run that school operation for the first 4 years. And depending on who is paying for the tuition, which is going to come out the pockets of the mothers or certain Black parents, if they're together, they're going to be funding for their own son's education out of pocket, which I'm going to find to be very challenging. Very challenging. So, him saying about his views about other content creators and all stuff. Yeah, people hear that, but to sit there criticize and you have a bad track record, Mr. Dr. Omar Johnson, is not a good look. And mind you, there's information and there are audio recordings of that as well. Even you wrote a 2 or 3 page apology on it. Yeah. So, like I said, if you're about the mission, I think you need to stay with it. To get in a lot of grace to a lot of women now at this point, it's not a good look. Even certain black women that went even as hard as the one that the man had sexual relations with came out and exposed him. That really hurt him from getting that $1 million just to start on a high note. Because if he got the $1 million and was making money now from donations, you're looking at roughly almost $2 million, almost halfway of the money needed to run and sustain a school for a few years. So he knows that's his fault at the end of the day. And you think that he will learn now that only thing you're focusing on is how you could able to get this money to get the school running. To sit and dip and dive about what's going on with black people in regards black man, black woman issues is irrelevant at this stage now of the game, because real truth is not doing us any better, especially when we look at the future of the children, which that is his goal and end game. So the only advice I could say to the brother, he needs to figure out how he's going to get the necessary money, and really going out and trying to hope to get a certain female audience base that already knows that he fucked up 6 years ago. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. And I know a few men that I've talked to, not many, that, and they said it themselves, and they do content on YouTube, said they stopped going into his vision. So at the end of the day, you got to hustle and figure out how you're going to make this money and get the school running. And depending on the community itself, I just don't see that happening anytime soon. Hell, I know certain content creators that done interviews with the man, they even draw their support, and they believe in so-called people like the Leonard Honors or anybody that was trying to expose them. And I'm going to say this with any other content creator that's exposed another black man or black woman in regards to what they're not doing and stuff. Okay, I understand you did it, but if you're doing it repeatedly and have a channel and you're getting money, you're not sincere of the message. You dare just to create a platform, just to use him, just to fund your own little lifestyle and household. And that right there, I don't take you niggas seriously on that. I would look at it as a red flag, to be fair and honest. But people, we don't use common sense or critical thinking on why will you do that? What's the purpose of that? Why? Usually if you put out something, that's it. You keep pushing it so everybody else think. But when you're doing stream at the stream, video at the video of this particular man, I look at that now. I have to look at your side eye and really take a step back, because that's a red flag in itself. But that's just me, people. That's just me. So I think I lay out all of the confessions, and I don't think I have anything else to lay out. This is just my little side of confessions and things, on how I view and see things, and the background history of what I've learned here and experienced from the few people that I've came across throughout the few years. I can't name anybody else, to be fair, honest, because I still don't really know them like that per se, and I'm just giving my own perspective on things, my own critique, analysis of things. And you don't hear it mostly on my channel because I don't talk too much about content creators like that. I mean, I could probably give some perspective of Kevin Samuels, but like I said, the only time I knew Kevin was when I was part, not only on his YouTube show 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, but I don't really follow the background of the man enough. Now I've been hearing speculation this man is scheming people paying for a service and they're not getting the money. I mean, hearing about that from small other black males, even as far as I hear that this man is gay, and he does look flamboyant, you know what I'm saying? And there's reason for that. But in regards to that he's full blown, he's a homosexual and also, you're gonna have to show actual receipts of that, And trust me, we have a lot of people in this community that move and operate very feminine, unfortunately. But are they really gay? I don't know. I can't give you that answer. And one last side note to those people that use the gay as a shaming tactic to black men, I tell men and women, stop it. Just stop it. You sound stupid and dumb. And the reason why I said stop it because I've said it once and I will say it again. The black community does not give a fuck about homosexuality. They just don't. How I know because I've done shows on Blog Talk Radio with Dawan, Yisrael, and I've done extensive shows with the brother and maybe some other brother. I think Dr. Rain Short, whoever it was, for years now on Blog Talk Radio and on Free Conference Call for years. And the only thing I got back to people that called, I had a lot of pushback, opposition on that alone. So when I look at now, today, when they use it as a form of shaming tactic, I look at it as shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. You only use that slur when someone is saying something that is not present or something that you don't like. You use it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, moving forward in the 21st century, a lot of people, a lot of men that's set on the purpose of the grind, they're just not gonna be phased on that shit. That's just it. They're not gonna be phased. Because one thing is evident, I will give credit to Kevin Samuels. You cannot use shame, guilt, insult, and need to be right to the average black man that's talking his truth and being honest that's not said. And I think too many black people, men and women, use it as a form to try to shame you, guilt you, and need to be right when they can't defeat any talking points. So yeah, that is it. That is it. So let's look here. Take a little break. Let me do this. I was looking at something now. All right, I guess that's it. I was looking at some things. All right, so that's it. So I hope y'all like this Confessions / Chaos Theory episode 4. The next episode that will be put back on Chaos Rant, I think we're gonna restart back Porn Talk with me and Kai very soon. I'm probably gonna have some uploads down the line and some other content that I'm just figuring out right now. I'm probably gonna write down paper to see if I'm going to discuss or not. I think I might cover the other way to reduce the marriage rate, divorce rate here in America. I'm still figuring out how to go about that, but stay tuned. Just stay tuned. I'd like to thank everybody for listening to today's podcast / stream. If you are not subscribed to Chaos Rain, what you're waiting for, hit that subscribe button, hit that top bell. Also, you can now follow me on Facebook, Eric Rain. And you can also tweet to me, or tweet like a Tweety Bird, Twitter at Chaos Rain number 7. The number 7, actually. So thank y'all for listening to this stream. Till next time.